Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's second part of the heroes we deserve, and we will definitely talk a lot about online heroes. There will be a third part as well, I guess the most even interesting. But before, I just wanted to make a short summary of the first part if you haven't seen it. So I was analyzing the so-called established top players, top 9 FIDE Blitz rating players' performances, and comparing it to the highest rated onliners on chess.com. And a short recap here. Yes, so OTB, when it gets to playing over the board, there is a very considerable advantage in everything, in average amount of points. You see difference is 1.5 points in average. An established top player OTB is performing better than the onliner. Then the average caps level 3.6 in average, huge difference, definitely like 100 plus elo points difference. And the performance also, 180 elo points performance. It's a lot. The gap is huge. At least when it gets to playing over the board. But as you have seen in my first part, then I was checking the last 5 of each player, last 5 title Tuesday events, and then it gets pretty equal. So the caps, so the level of play becomes completely identical, 88.8 both groups. And actually the onliners, there are a little bit more often in top 10 and top 5 than the top 9 Blitz players in the world. Okay, so one thing I actually forgot to mention in the first part, that of course when I'm counting caps, when I analyze caps, I do it in such a way that I cut the short draws. Okay, all victories before move 15, just in case, because it can be just a disconnection or something. Well, very rarely somebody wins on this level a game before move 15, but just in case I cut it. And also I dismiss short draws. So there is a bit of a issue how to count it. So I was hesitating between cutting all draws before move 20 or before move 25, because it can also be the 23 moves games can be actually quite interesting and full of content and end up in a complicated perpetual check in a sharp position, or it can sometimes happen that simply there is long theoretical well-known line and players agree to draw, so they didn't mind actually to make a draw from the beginning. So what I decided finally is every game between moves 20 and 25 I was manually checking and trying to understand if there was any content in the game or there is nothing, basically. Because I wanted to be as precise as possible, so to dismiss all games that do not correspond to really playing chess. So long theoretical line and then players agree to a draw, so these games would artificially increase the caps level, the accuracy of play. So finally, but there were not so many actually players whether they agree to a draw before move 20, whether they already play, so not too many games like that, but I did it manually, so everything is very accurate. And but it's important, of course, that I mention it, forgot last time, that this is the system of how I was calculating caps. So now let's come to the online heroes, which we definitely deserve. So first part, this video will be about I'm divided in two groups. So talented FIDE masters, so players who are not grandmasters, not like real professionals whom we all know. And the next video will be very also interesting. A lot of interesting numbers will be about the established players, let's say from 2500 FIDE rating level and up. Today we are talking about I like this expression. Somebody wrote this on my Twitter. Was actually contesting my statement that it's not very often that they can beat or outplay top grandmasters. They said so. This person said that there are a lot of very talented online players. I liked very much this idea. I don't know what means talented online players, but I would call them talented FIDE masters. Let's put it this way. So I noticed that while when I was playing Title Tuesday, then lately I'm, as you know, banned for telling the truth, actually, outside actually of the chess.com platform, so completely unreasonably, of course, because there is a First Amendment of US Constitution, as far as I know, and I don't understand why chess.com takes the responsibility to ban somebody for expressing his views outside of the platform. It's totally wrong, and they do it only with me, but not with players like Nakamura and others. So, we are in dispute now, and my lawyers as well are in dispute about it with their lawyers. So let's see how it will proceed. But anyway, it's not about that. It's what I wanted to tell, that especially lately when I was playing Title Tuesday, I just realized that especially at the very beginning, at the start of the tournament, first 2-3 rounds, the level of my opponents was really high for what it is. I mean, usually second round of Title Tuesday you are playing against players of 2100, 2200 FIDE rating level, but they were playing quite strong. I would be losing sometimes or making a draw, and then I just for out of interest, because all strong players, they play with more or less the same type of opponent in the first and second round, and I checked the accuracy level of opponents of Hikaru in the last 10 tournaments or something. It was a couple of months ago. I even published a tweet on it also on my X and mine, and then I realized that first of all my level of play was actually higher than his level, but in the meantime, for some reason his opponents showed I believe it was 79 dot something caps in the first 2 rounds, opponents, and mine were playing 85.5 in average, which is basically a 2500 2600 level of FIDE. So yeah, it was a little bit puzzling how come it's stably my opponents are like 300 400 elo rating overperforming playing against me. And then I decided to make a more global analysis of this, and here we go. This is what I checked. Let's start first with more general. So this is I decided to take 107 latest games. Why 107? Why this number? Because I started with myself. I checked my latest 10 Title Tuesdays, and since I finished some of them a bit earlier than 11, so finally it was 107 games. And then I decided to check everyone's, at least few players, 107 also games. So that's why 107. So more or less correspond to 10 tournaments, because sometimes players finish the tournament earlier a bit, and so just to make it equal, to make the experiment as precise, as accurate as possible. And so the amount of 90 plus caps games played by opponents in those Title Tuesdays. Of course, opponents are a bit different, but in general, my opponents, since I'm struggling to very often to win in the first 2-3 rounds, and in general, I'm stably, my opponents are lower rated than, let's say, players who are fighting for first places, like Nakamura and Danya Naroditsky. So in general, they should normally have more players who play 90 plus, more games of the opponents playing on the high level. And here is, of course, yeah, it's true. It depends a bit on the style of play. That's sure. That's why I decided to take, let's say, 3 players with pretty different style. I would say Nakamura very sharp play, yes. So maybe his accuracy level in general is a bit lower than, let's say, maybe a player of his strengths. Danya is somewhere in between. He's quite cautious player, but also he's playing quite aggressive openings often. And Wesley So, very solid, yeah, really solid, playing solid openings. And yeah, so I wanted to check different types of players. And in the next picture I will present you, you will see also I checked even more players of different styles, just to be sure that you know about the results of the test. So finally, in those 107 games, Nakamura opponents 15 games Nakamura has where his opponents played 90 plus cups. You see here the average of those games of the 92.5 of his opponents. And yeah, okay, let's see, 15 games means like what, 12%, something like that. Wait, out of 107, no, it's actually more, yeah. Okay, no, I mean, sorry, it is less, of course, yeah, it is less. 15, no. Okay, 15 games, okay, I'm just getting confused. No, it's, it's true, it's about 15%. 12, I mean, percent. Okay, anyways. This is those games in general. Yeah, this is a number, and actually he is in minus in these games. That's true. 92.5 or 90, even 91 level is very high. It's very difficult to be in plus against such a level of plays, unless you're just playing extremely safe and trying to make a draw. But that's not what is happening, obviously, in Title Tuesdays. Maybe from time to time when you are leading, but only maybe 1 game out of 10 is like this. So obviously, I mean, it's in a normal game to fight against 92.5 and to be winning, okay, that would be really suspicious. I mean, in a long sequence of games. Of course, in some games it's possible. So he won 5 games, lost 8 out of those, and drew 2, -3. Then I checked Danya Naroditsky. He had 18 games, quite similar amount of games, no big difference. Won 5, lost 12 already. Yeah, and 1 draw. And then Wesley So, because I wanted a very solid player, also in his latest 10 Title Tuesdays. I think also the average level of opponents is quite similar because most of the times they're fighting for top places. Maybe Hikaru's is the highest, but Danya and Wesley are quite similar opponents. And let's see what happened. Also 18 games, so quite stable. He won 4, lost 7 draws. Yeah, since he's a better player, definitely. And okay, so he managed a bit higher amount of points, but still everybody is in minus. Okay, that seems to be a normal picture. So I would say somewhere in between, I don't know, 12 and 18, I don't know, 19%, something like that is normal. And now I'm going to show you my statistics. Again, I would like to repeat that, of course, my opponents are weaker in general. I'm playing lower rated opponents. I wouldn't say weaker, they are lower rated, let's put it this way. And let's see, okay, this is a picture, I would even say it's a painting. I have 35 games like this. And believe me, I'm not playing safe or whatever, of course not. I mean, of course I'm playing for a win in vast majority of the games. I'm not playing solid openings, actually pretty sharp, especially with white. I mean, I'm also not trying not to play long theoretical lines, very rarely. So how can you explain this? I mean, this is absurd. It's a complete absurd. So double than Danny and Wesley, and yeah, even more than Hikaru. Okay, I actually didn't. I mean, I scored very well for that. 8 wins, 12 losses, 15 draws. Very good score. In fact, I was fighting well because, strangely enough, maybe because my opponents are forcing me to concentrate because they play just very strong, yeah, a bit too strong for their level very often. That actually my general level in Title Tuesdays is quite high. It's actually high. But simply you just cannot beat it. Yeah, you cannot beat every third game I play in Title Tuesday. My opponents are playing 90 plus, and considerably 90 plus, 93.4 average. I mean, in those 35 games, I mean, it is absurd, completely ridiculous. It just cannot be. It simply cannot be because my average rating here in these games of my opponents is maybe, I didn't actually count it, but okay, maybe like 1/3 of the games are really players 2900 plus Chesscom rating, and the rest are lower rated. So maybe altogether average is 2700, 2800 maximum. How can a player which corresponds to a level, let's say in roughly 2350 FIDE rating, how can 2350 play every third game 90 plus in Blitz 3+1? I mean, especially against a good opposition who is playing decently. I mean, it is completely ridiculous. It's very obvious. Yeah, it's like a clear proof, I would say. Yeah, that the cheating is going, I mean, on in a, well, very serious scale on chess.com, because I guess, well, first of all, many people who are not cheating, actually very rarely people are cheating all the time. So they choose with whom to do, with whom not, as I understand, and then first of all, they know that cheating against me will not be punished. It will not be punished basically anyway, most probably, but for sure not against me. And secondly, probably because of my campaign, because of what I do last year, yeah, they feel like personally insulted by me, that I'm fighting against this fraud and this disgrace which is happening, online cheating. And yeah, so that is quite explainable why I have this is and I don't have any one other player even getting close to these statistics. Yeah, I mean, here on the next one I'm going to show you now, there is one player, try to guess who is, yeah, very close to me also, but so okay, that is the first one I checked. It was kind of funny, even funny how absurd it is. Yeah, but then I decided to check it a bit even on the higher scale, and I took more players, and I decided to actually to check two rating categories. So I decided to check 100 latest games of each player. Those are the players I will show you now. Those are the players. So different style. Okay, they're all strong, but different styles. So 100 games each, latest, against the following rating categories: 2400, 2700. Of course, I mean chess.com. So normally I would say that I would say the difference in average roughly between chess.com rating and FIDE rating, I would say it's 400 points. So we are talking about 2.4, 2.7. Let's make it average, let's say 2.6. I mean, there are not so many of 2.4, so I would say average 2,600. That corresponds to, yeah, 2,200 level player. So let's say 2,250, but no more really. That is, and I was checking also my average, at least in the games that This players' online talents were showing very high level 90 plus against me. I think the average was below 2300, was something like 2270 or something. FIDE rating, because I was checking every player, what is his FIDE blitz rating. So yeah, that would correspond to, let's say, 2250 players level. And then to see what is the score, first of all, in those last 100 games, everybody played. And you see players are different style. Well, some are, of course, there is also Carlson, Nakamura, there are a bit weaker players. There are very solid players like Anish Giri, Wesley So. There are more sharper players like Firuja, for example, and Caruana also. So, yeah, that was the idea, just to make sure that it doesn't completely depend on your style, on the approach, how you play against such players. So, and then the score and how often, how many games out of those 100 consecutive against this group of players, they were playing 90 plus cups. So very high level, of course, for 2250 FIDE player. And how many were 94 even plus cups. So this is just amazing level for these people. And then exactly the same, already I expanded the group, so 2-4, well, usually it's 2-5, very rarely there is 2-5 chess.com rating, if there are any games, there are any players you face, but just in case I took 2-4, and until 2900. So here it would already correspond to a rating group, I would say, yeah, 2300, 2350 FIDE rating, yeah. Of course, yeah, because usually maybe even 2400 in some cases, but obviously, yeah, I mean, there is no really strong grandmaster, I think 26 plus player who is below 2900 on chess.com, but some are, let's say, yeah, some are underrated, some are overrated. All in all, I would say 2350 FIDE rating, probably the average should be in this rating group. And the same score of each player and the amount of games. So let's see. First of all, Nakamura. This is kind of incredible result. 99 wins and 1 draw out of 100. Frankly, it's puzzling even against very weak opponents. I mean, yeah. First of all, people are, even according to chess.com, very modest numbers. There is still 1% or 2% of cheaters, yeah, in Title Tuesday. And Hikaru must be extremely lucky, never facing a single one. And in fact, it even goes further. Let's say when he's playing 24-2900 in this group, actually he already lost 2 games, but he wins even more. I mean, 105 wins, 2 losses against 2350 opposition. Nobody has even anything even close to that. Okay, strange, yeah, strange, but well, okay. Anyways, then yeah, he has against this group of players only 1 game that out of 100 where his opponents played 90 plus cups level, and actually no games 94 plus cups. Firuja, yeah, it also partly depends, of course, on the style of play, definitely, because they're sharp players, but not that much, because as you see, Wesley So with his solid play also has very few players who reached 90 plus level. And also, just to dismiss immediately this argument that yeah, because they are much stronger, actually not really. I mean, the level of play by name, yeah, in general they are stronger, but first of all, when you are playing a position like 2200, doesn't really matter if you're Carlson or just Grishuk or even me. I mean, you're so much stronger that it shouldn't matter normally. And secondly, also you see Wesley is third, but then some sharper play in Caruana. There are more players who played 90 plus against him, even though he's playing sharper. So there is no very clear, obvious correlation to it. I would say maybe more there is correlation of being touchable, untouchable, or some other issue that I will raise at the end of this video. But Firuza, he has, well, 97 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws. Of course, also amazing performance, but only 3 games 90 plus, and one of it is 94 plus. So what I want to show here, that it's extremely correlated to the level of play of your opponent, actually, much more than yours. So you see people who are performing better, other people against whom the opponents are playing actually lower level chess. And sometimes it's the same goes here. For example, Wesley has a very high score, also 97 out of 100, much higher, I mean, let's say even than Carlson, who has 95 and half only. And Wesley is a very solid player. Like, it's normally should be easier to play, let's say, higher level against him, even though still he would of course beat most of the players of 2250 level, but for some reason there are less games, so only 4 90 plus games, one of it 94 plus. So, and then of course, yeah, you are not missing points there actually, and that's very important for the overall success in Title Tuesday, because if you start missing points in at the first 2-3 rounds and nobody, let's say your concurrents are not doing it, that is a very big advantage. So we see here one of the reasons Nakamura is stably performing so great in Title Tuesday, because at the very beginning he's not missing any point, and all players, you see with Magnus 4 points out of 100, so difference. So it means like 4 tournaments, he has a handicap 4 tournaments from the beginning. We can see if it's a matter of some mistakes that opponents, I mean that the players are doing, but it doesn't seem so, because you see 90 plus cups, Nakamura has only 1 game of the opponents played, and Magnus 8 games. So it seems to me pretty clear that those people who are cheating, and there are definitely in the first rounds of Title Tuesdays, are probably a little bit more than Chess.com pretends to, and I will show you a bit in a minute why do I believe so. I mean, these people there, I mean, they know that doing it against Nakamura will be punished. I guess that would be my explanation. Of course, it's just a hypothesis, but it's hard to explain otherwise. But against Magnus, they also know it's dangerous, but the temptation is too strong to tell that I beat Magnus or I made a draw with Magnus. So 8 games against Magnus, and of course his performance is lower. Yeah, it's very clear correlation. Yeah, and Broadening actually has not so many games. Well, he's working on Chess.com as well. For Chess.com, by the way, as I know, he's working somewhere in anti-cheating. So yeah, strangely enough, he has only even less games, 90 plus, than Magnus Carlsen, 7. But okay, he's just a considerably weaker player, obviously. That's why his performance is actually not good at all for this amount of games, yeah, 90 plus, that his opponents, his weaker opponents are playing. Then there is Bluebaum, Caruana, 8, 8, 8, 8. But 8 is already a lot. Yeah, Magnus scoring a lot with 8 players 90 plus, showing 90 plus, but that's Magnus. Yeah, otherwise, even very strong players like Caruana, Grishuk, they're already significantly dropping the amount of points. So you see, for instance, Fabiano, he's scoring 92 out of 100. Hikaru 99.5 out of 100. So even at this moment in the first 2 rounds, playing 2100, 2200 FIDE rating players, okay, the handicap is huge already. Fabiano gives 7.5 points handicap all in all, yeah, in 100 events to Hikaru. Well, you just cannot compete like this, yeah. I mean, in an equal level, I don't, of course, dismiss the fact that Hikaru is a very strong player, but I mean, he gets a very considerable handicap by his opponents playing much, much worse than opponents of other players for whatever reason. Grishuk is scoring very badly. I mean, also 8 games. 4. Fabiano has 4 games, 94 plus. I mean, that is really too much. And of course, yeah, I mean, 85 wins, 6 losses against 2,200 opposition. I mean, 9 games, so 9 draws, which means 4.5 points, 89.5 out of 100. So he's given 10 points difference with Nakamura. I mean, it's like, it's crazy. Yeah, it's really a lot. So, well. And then I expanded, yeah, this rating to 2,900, but the picture is very similar. Absolutely incredible, because 2,900, there is in this group already quite many games where you play against 2,850 players, already grandmasters. And Hikaru has even more than 99, I mean 98, yeah, has 98 wins, 2 losses without draws. But actually then it continues this streak, so 105 out of 107 against actually 2,350 level. I just don't understand how it's possible, because you see performance is the same. Carlsen, is he weaker than Nakamura? I don't think so, but his performance is completely different. Okay, even let's imagine 98 out of 100, but okay, he has 93.5 out of 100. Firuza has 93 out of 100. I mean, 98 is just crazy. I mean, performance, but whatever. Wesley starts to struggle because Hikaru has, in these 100 games, only 2 games where his opponents are playing 90 plus. And sometimes these opponents are already even 2,500 FIDE rating. Only 2 games and only 1 94 plus. Firuza has 7 already, significant jump, but Wesley 13. So you see the level increases, and many more players are reaching playing 90 plus, which is of course a very, very strong level of play. And yeah, then immediately his performance drops, well, very seriously. Yeah, 85 wins, 8 losses, already 7 draws. And then Magnus still has very high number, pretty high, 14 games of 90 plus. And also his performance, okay, it drops, it's still very strong, but that is kind of normal. To have a jump from 8 to 14 maybe is a bit too much, but 8-12, because the opposition is stronger here. So, but still 14 games, a lot, 90 plus, but very few actually 94 plus. Okay, 94 plus is already like top, definitely like top 5 level. That, don't misunderstand me, some from time to time, very rarely, even players of 2350 FIDE rating are capable of playing even against Magnus 94 plus game. But it happens very rare. I would say 3 is real maximum. I mean, real maximum. If we are not, if we believe that everybody plays fair, probably should be even lower. Anyways, then you have Blue Baum already has 15 games. Then his performance drops incredibly. By the way, against this group, he has very, very strong performance. Actually, has a lot of games, 8 games 90 plus. 4 of them 94 plus, so is not very lucky, so to say. Let's use this word in the first rounds, but is getting quite strong play of the opposition, but his performance is very high. But here it suddenly starts to drop. I mean, it's actually pretty bad performance for even for 15 games, which is a bit far too much, yeah. 15 90 plus, 6 94 plus, but the performance is, yeah, here he loses a lot of points. Well, okay, he's not Caruana and he's not Nakamura, yeah. Okay, then Caruana, Naroditsky has 9 each, 5 and 3 94 plus. Then we start to get to touchables. I mean, those were more or less untouchables, at least mostly. American players, chess.com friendly, most of them, so better not to joke, yeah. But when it gets to Russians and to some players which, well, are very, I would say equal level to those, then the amount starts to grow. So already Grishuk, yeah, he's losing in those rounds. He's losing everything. Actually, he's performing very well against top players. But how many points he loses in against talented FIDE masters? Then you cannot compensate it already. Even though he from time to time he's getting in top 5, but yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, when you have so many games and the earlier stages of the tournaments, when 17 out of 100, so this time we are talking about 100 latest games, 90 plus, and 9 games 94 plus. So almost every 10th game, yeah, he has an opponent who is playing 94 plus against him. How you're supposed to score like Hikaru 105 out of 107? It's impossible, just impossible. And yeah, his performance is really low here. I mean, compared to those players. So here, yeah, you basically have no chance after all to really, in a long run, to be even close to compete for top 3 places in most of the events. 17, Andreikin 9 here, 18, even more. Why I took Andreikin? Very solid style. Yeah, so I wanted to take sharp players like Caruana, solid. Bortnik also is kind of tricky player. He plays a bit dubious opening, so tries to play for tactics quite a lot. Grishuk, Andreikin, very, very solid. Grishuk is playing, at least lately, Berlin most of the time, again in every game in Title Tuesday, so he really, as I understand, wanted to qualify. He missed a little bit to qualify for this final event, so he was playing very solid openings. Andreikin usually also playing so, but Wesley so as well. So I mean, it doesn't depend that much on the openings or style you play, but then those are, so I checked the players, so 17, 18, well, let's see, the standard should be here. It's pretty clear to me there is already considerable cheating happening here. 15, 17, 18 is too much, because if you have some players who have 2, 7, 9, 18, no, not very realistic. I mean, even considering the style, so probably I would say a normal number would be around 12 maybe, yeah. I mean, without cheating. So those players already, in my opinion, experiencing quite some cheating, but now we get to the main point. Yeah, Anish Giri, 14 also, yeah, a bit less. Yeah, he's closer to the, I would say, yeah, intuitively I would say if there is no cheating, yeah, here probably it would be more like 3-4 probably. Yeah, you see these players 1, 3, 4, maybe 5, no more than 5 out of 100 for sure, I would say, in my opinion. So all the rest is due to cheating, I believe. And here would be maybe 11, 12, 13 if no cheating, not more than 13, definitely. I would rather say 11, 12. Yeah, normal number of opponents who are playing 90 plus. So Anish, yeah, here he has less actually games only. So here his number is a bit too high, I would say, because he just played. He started to play quite recently, so he just played 57 games only against this group of 2,700 players, and 4 out of 57 means he should have, no, actually, yeah, 7, 8 like other players. So very stable here, number. Very stable, but then we get to 2 paranoid grandpas, yeah, who are pretending, falsely accusing innocent players and pretending that there is a bit more cheating that Chess.com detects. And what a coincidence, yeah, we both have 18 games, 18, okay, just think, Nakamura 1, Firouzja 3, Wesley So 4, 18 of when the opponents in the, well, usually it's first 2 rounds, maximum first 3 rounds, they are playing a 90 plus level. I have 4, Kamsky has 8 games, 94 plus, I mean, but 18, it's clear minimum half. I mean, that is complete minimum, that half of it is due to cheating. I mean, in reality, of course, more. As I told, I believe there must be 4 or 5 probably is the adequate number. 6 at best. All this 8 means probably there were at least couple of cheaters, at least. But 18, how many people should be cheating? Well, minimum 10 out of 18. I don't know which one, because some definitely manage themselves, but it's very obvious. Common sense mathematics tells it's impossible to have such a gap. So I would say 10, which already it's a complete minimum. In reality, probably more, which already means on this level probably 10-15% cheating is kind of already established. And it's like minimum because I mean, it's very possible. It's only those who cheated already, yeah, because it's shown by numbers. I mean, I don't know exactly out of this 18 who exactly did and who did not, but you see that it cannot be such a difference. So I don't blame concrete people, even though some games are so obvious that there is no doubt, no reasonable doubt that people were playing from their home magic chair. But anyways, I mean, that's very obvious that it cannot happen such a big number. And of course, yeah, performance is like dropping, 88 losses, 8 draws. Kamsky 6 losses, 15 draws against 2,200 players. I mean, sorry. I mean, this is like, they cannot play so well. So many games. They cannot play, I'm sorry, every fifth game. They cannot play 90 plus every fifth game. It just doesn't happen. It's not in this world. Only in Chess.com virtual world it can happen. And then we are talking about the other group. It's also quite I would say impressive, because here you see 18 was the maximum number. Normally, yeah, hard to say because the deviation is quite serious here, but I would, as I mentioned, like maybe 12 would be, from 10 to 12 or something would be a normal number of the games 90 plus in this group. Let's see, I have 31 game. And this is really funny. Kamsky, here I overtook Kamsky. He has 26, also like incredibly high numbers. 13 of those are 94 plus, but 31 every third game I play on Title Tuesday, my opponents are playing 90 plus. And again, I'm playing sharp. You can check my games. I mean, I'm not playing any safer than people like Bluebaum or Naroditsky or Bortnik or Giri, for sure not. I'm not playing long theoretical lines. I'm playing very kind of normal with a positional base, but sometimes it gets really sharp and I'm trying to complicate situation. I'm trying just to enjoy when I play. And then every third player is, so how, okay, of course my performance 74 wins, 14 losses, 12 draws. Well, it's basically it's like cutting any chance from the very beginning, like first half of the tournament. Most of the events, like you almost have no chance anymore to fight for really top places. From time to time still I manage, but very rarely. Why? Okay, you see why, yeah, because my opponents are mostly online talents. What can I say here? Nobody can actually compete with this, and I'm not complaining about myself. I mean, I don't care really so much about Title Tuesday, my my result, even though of course it brings negative emotions when you see again and again some 2,300 player played like a genius against me, and again and again and again and every week, and then okay, people are Chess.com brainwashed people are writing, oh, he's accusing every game he loses, he's accusing players. First of all, not every game. Secondly, not accusing most of the time at least. And thirdly, but I'm right, because because you see, Hikaru has 2 games 90 plus. I have 31. How is it possible? Okay, Caruana 9, Naroditsky 9, 31. How many of them should be cheating? Just use your brain. Stop listening to the nonsense of chess.com. Use your own brain. How many people from this 31 are playing fair? Maybe at maximum, complete maximum 15. Probably, in fact, 17, I mean 15 are cheating. So again, if we are talking about 10, 12, okay, let's say 12, 31, what's the difference? I mean 19 people are cheating, 20% here. Most probably, again, it's my guess just based on the common sense, because how can it be? 231, how can it be? Why two players who are especially already consistently expressing their disgust with what is happening on chess.com, with the cheating that is happening, why exactly those players are having absolutely crazy numbers? Why only that? I couldn't find anyone else. I mean, just use your head. Everything is so obvious, so clear. Yeah. And I can even, at some point, I can go on and check the games. I mean, I can just show you. And I was checking, obviously, most of the players who are playing like geniuses in complicated games against me and outplaying me, some 2,200, 2,150 even players who are just outplaying me and winning absolutely deservingly, that I don't blunder. I show, for example, 90 level, very serious level, and they just beat me because they're strong, because they're online chess.com talents. So yeah, and then I think there is one more here. No, this one will be for the next video. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to tell today. Well, everything is very obvious, clear, and there is no way you can explain it. By the way, I was just thinking, so it means those players, they are afraid to, they prefer probably not to cheat against people like definitely Nakamura, but even maybe Wesley So, Firuja, Carlsen. Too much temptation, so 14 is quite a high number. But then when it gets to people who will be like Grishuk and Reikin, okay, some Russians, who cares? Probably will not be punished. Then the numbers are getting higher, and when it gets to the guys whom probably you will only get applause, for cheating against, then they show the real number of so here, probably somewhere here is a real number, somewhere in the average of this is a real number of honest players, so would be maybe 10. I mean, the percent of such games should be played, so probably in reality around 10. And here I have 31%, yeah. Here is the number of those, but maybe it's not all of them. Very likely, some they decided not to cheat in this particular game against me. It's only those who already cheated, yeah. So it's obviously, as like any common sense and most of top players telling, and I know very well what they think. It's a complete minimum, 20%. I mean, and in my opinion, it's on the very low end. 20% of cheating happening in reality on chess.com. That is my opinion. I'm basing it very, very obviously, very clearly. I'm interested to listen to your explanation. Of course, I already don't have any illusion that chess.com is going to ignore it, as they're ignoring all absolutely unthinkable statistics which I was raising, and they have it also as well. They understand everything. So I don't have any illusion. Of course, I would just, out of the politeness, I would ask chess.com if you could check the statistics and tell anything more or less, at least for the IQ friendly. How do you see it, and maybe to take some measures against some players out of this 31 at least. But okay, let's tell it. I know nothing will be done. It's very clear already the stand of chess.com on this matter, so there is nothing to do. That's why, it's only reason why I'm doing it publicly, why I'm publishing it, because this is a disgrace in my opinion. This is simply killing chess. I mean, these things that such absolutely incredible, ridiculous statistics is not punished, is not even considered, nobody even cares, yeah? Those at least who have to, who are obliged, who promise to care about it, well, they don't seem to do it. Okay, so that was about the online talents, talented FIDE masters, and my next part of my video will be part 3 will be about the established onliners, and there will be a lot, much more even of statistics and some incredible numbers, no less unexplainable as this. So it will be very interesting. I will try to make this video in the next couple of days maximum, probably even tomorrow. Thank you for your attention.